What's up? It is Dave. It is Duncan. Back from Metal Epidemic for another album review.
Unprofessional review here. What are you doing? Come on, hold it
For
together.
this review,
Hold the line,
Duncan
Dave.
and I
Hold.
have been checking out the new album from Swedish atmospheric quintet Blodet. The band's new album, Death Mother, will be released on September 29th via Church Road Records. So, the debut album from Blodet, which follows up their 2021 EP, Vision. With this highly anticipated album, Blodet delivers an audacious exploration of life, death, and everything in between. The captivating title, Death Mother, hints at the paradoxical nature of existence, where birth and demise intertwine, giving rise to new beginnings, even amidst the shadows. The band found the writing and recording process incredibly difficult, with the passing of their longtime friend and guitarist Ricky after a hard battle with cancer. Ricky was involved with the writing process of Death Mother, and shortly after he passed, the rest of the band finished the recording to help with the grieving process. Blodet's poetic and thought-provoking lyrics delve deep into the complexities of the human psyche, exploring themes of loss, love, existentialism, and the darker corners of the human soul. Their music possesses a cathartic quality that allows listeners to confront their own emotions and connect with the shared human experience. As they unleash Death Mother upon the world, Blodet solidifies their position as a significant force in the contemporary alternative music landscape. With their soul-stirring compositions and uncompromising vision, the band continues to push boundaries, forging a path entirely their own. So, we one of the other team actually reviewed the EP from 2021 Vision, and I was kind of intrigued when I heard that release.
You pull rank on this, Dave.
No, not at all. No,
Were they like, oh, I can't wait to review their album when it comes, and you were like that? Yoink.
No, they no longer review for the site.
You fired
because
them
I
so you
fired
could
them.
review
Yes,
this. Oh my good God! You really did pull. You pulled the ultimate rank.
Well, I'll have to
Did
let
you
you
red
know.
card them?
Yes,
I'm sure that's a sports thing. Doesn't that mean you have to leave?
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Did you kill them? Is this a confession? Is this a weird? Did we contract kill these people?
I'll tell you offline.
Right.
There was definitely something stylistically appealing to me about the band. However, it was an EP, so that was a hard pass from me.
We have listened to EPs, Dave. Like,
I do listen to EPs. I just don't usually enjoy them, to be honest. They're a waste of my time. Fast forward to 2023. I lied, they're not a waste of my time, but I'm still only going to review them. Fast forward to 2023. We now have a full-length album, and Dave is back in the game, Duncan.
Yep.
That's right.
Your balls went up as soon as you saw there was only 5 tracks. You were like, oh, is that an EP? And it was like 40 minutes. You were like, oh, they're back down.
Yeah, a wee bit, yeah.
We're good.
39 minutes long, 5 tracks. So, yeah, typically fairly kind of long-form songs. Except the closing track, which is a wee bit shorter.
Yep.
Oh,
track before it's like 15 minutes, Dave. Come on.
Yeah.
A 3 minute if you want.
Always going to be shorter than that, yeah. I went back and I listened.
Answers a question though, because I originally thought when I saw the title 93 to 22, that looked like it could be a date of someone's life, like 1993 to 2022.
Oh yeah.
And I'm assuming that's what that is after your intro. If I'm wrong to the band, I apologise, but that's certainly how it read to me. And now you've given it context, so
yeah. I went back and I listened to the EP just before checking this one out. And as much as I enjoyed what they had to offer on the EP, when I stuck the album on, this was a way better listen than the EP. I feel like the band have massively improved on that EP. Their sound in general here is much more commanding, and I think shows many more kind of dimensions to the band's sound. I think the layers and the arrangements here are much more thought out. This is a release that will definitely kind of pull you in more, and it has this kind of grandiose feel that I never really felt like they hit on the previous EP. I think there were times on the EP I felt like it did meander a little bit too much, and then they maybe didn't capitalize on a moment or had a kind of climax on the track. On the album though, you can hear that the songwriting here is a different level from the EP. That it is much more immediate as well. So the opening track is the title track, Death Mother, and it's straight in, 4 clicks, and then the band are right in, and they're kind of delivering these like big kind of smoky, atmospheric kind of like post-rock meets doomy kind of rock chords with these like really lush kind of guitar leads that are kind of simmering in the background. And to be honest, when the kind of the music kicked in, I was like, oh, this is really fucking cool. And then the vocals joined the mix, and it was only a matter of time before the intensity of the track was pushed that little bit further, and then they land the first chorus of the album, and what a fucking chorus it is. Huge chorus with these really like intoxicating melodies. And it was at that point when that chorus kicked in, I was like, oh shit, right, they've mastered the kind of the art of the vocal hook here, which they they kind of didn't have as much on the EP. Had great vocal tones and ideas on the EP, but I felt like it never really grabbed me or got in my head like this did. This time I was totally in. Death Mother has this a little bit reminding me of Dool a little bit in the vocal melody. But this is way more kind of ghostly and kind of elegant as well. And I thought, like, as an opening track, even at like 7 minutes, it kind of set the bar really high. And I felt like this is like a great way to start the album. And I was kind of totally invested at that point to hear what was coming next. And they kind of do like start to kind of expand their sonic palette as the album goes on. Oh dear. Excuse me. Whilst the hour doesn't quite have the vocal hook like the first track did, or the size of it, it does hear them kind of demonstrating the more of a kind of dynamic range that they've clearly been developing recently, starting where they starting to blend like doom, bit of post metal with a ton of atmosphere, but also not overloading the track either for the sake of it. A lot of the second track feels quite stripped back, but still delivers some really kind of beautiful moments. I can imagine live, I think that track's going to sound huge, like when they kick into those heavier parts, and that kind of, it's got a real climax at the end of the track where it goes real kind of doomy and post-metal. I think that with the kind of layered vocals, there's a bit of synths in there, I think that's going to sound incredible on a live environment. Lead Me Home, it goes a bit more minimalist, with a kind of dreamier, almost like kind of alternative kind of post-rock vibe, which is a cool track. Shows a bit more of a delicate side, just clean guitars on that one, but it's a nice kind of shift in tone, giving you something a little lighter in the middle of the album. And there is a bit of a hook there. It's not as grand as the album opener, but it's fine. Not every chorus needs to be so direct and huge. It is a more kind of graceful sounding track, so I feel like it kind of worked. What I didn't like on that track, and I'll come back to this kind of later on, was the fade out. I felt like the fade out on that track was far too quick, and for a song that's so relaxed in rhythm and feel, I feel like the fade out kind of killed the ending for me. I felt like that should have been like either a nice chord that was ringing out, or even like a solo vocal line, like at the end of the track or something like that. The fade in was just far too quick for me at the end. Within Me, I feel was probably the second best track for me on the album. It is like 15 minutes, but it gave me a really like satisfying kind of slow burn journey that builds into something with weight and a real, like, really, really beautiful performance from Hilda. She sounds incredible on this track. Absolutely powerful, really haunting, a real kind of dynamic vocal that it closes with a bang, and it feels full of emotion as well. I feel like her personality is all over this release. It really kind of oozes all over it, and I think her voice is one of the best things about this album. I think it's incredible. I think she has really elevated her voice since the last album, which was good on the EP as well, but here it sounds even better. The last track. So, difficult one because obviously it's named 9322. So I think it clearly is referencing.
I think that's what I took away from it. So
yeah. It's the shortest track, and it sees the band go down a rockier, almost like more kind of post-punk territory in places. It's more driven in the tempo than the rest of the album. Guitars are a little bit more edgy. When it finished, though, I was kind of like, what? Why? What? I didn't really get it, to be honest, the last track as a closing track, or even why it was on the album. I felt like they had, I don't know, I felt like something that was maybe left over and they kind of added in at the end. I don't know if it's something that the member that passed away had maybe written or something like that. It, for me, it didn't really fit for me on the album. Stylistically or thematically, it felt like a really odd ending to the album. The track itself kind of repeats itself for, well, I mean, it does repeat itself, but the kind of the lead work changes throughout the track, and then again, it finishes with a really horrible fade out again at the end, which again just felt really short and really abrupt. I don't know why they've done that. I really just didn't like the short fade out at all. If you're going to fade out, I think you should make it a bit longer, just kind of gradually fade out. I felt like it was far too fast. So as an album, I feel like it has a lot of moments that I really enjoyed, where I feel the band have clearly moved forward and are nailing certain parts of the formula. Their songwriting is becoming more refined. The raw, more emotional side of the band has also come out a lot more on this one. And that may be partly to do with, what they've gone through as a band in the last couple of years. But I felt like they've channeled that emotion in the right places on Death Mother, and it comes across very honest and very genuine. There's a clear feeling of involvement on this, where you can hear that they've learned from what didn't particularly work best in the past, and they've changed it. I still feel there's a few tweaks needed here and there. The placement of that last track felt kind of weird to me, and the fade outs, they need to stop doing that because it didn't work for me at all. That aside though, I think the production of the album is also a step up from the EP. This sounds huge, it sounds rich, it's got all the kind of natural tones of the instruments which have been captured really well. The drums are spotless, lovely. I love the tom sounds, nice and deep and warm sounding, and I think as a band they actually sound more in sync with each other here. I think they sound tighter than they did on the EP, but the playing also has a really nice like flexibility to it that gives the album a very kind of organic feel. So I feel like if you're a fan of the band, I think you'll find lots to like here. I can't imagine you not enjoying this release. For me, a lot of great highs with some huge moments. Just a little bit of fine tuning in places for me. What about yourself? What did you think of this one from Blodet?
So once again, I don't think we're that far away from each other.
All right, okay.
The band they most reminded me of, whilst once again not sounding anything like them, and as a band I've already mentioned tonight on another review, is King Woman.
King Woman, yeah.
Yeah, this like has an like if Blodet got a chance to tour with King Woman,
yeah, that'd
be a fucking amazing gig. And it's not just because they're female fronted. Vocally, they couldn't be any further apart. But there's a kind of rawness in the bearing of the souls and the vocals. Like there's something in there that it is instant goosebump material. Like when she hits certain notes, I just feel myself feeling like every nuance of what it is that she's trying to convey in the track.
Yeah.
Like I never listened to the EP, so this is my first introduction to the band. You're not wrong. The closing track is, to me, even if it was a dedication to someone that's passed on or whatever, I think there's ways you can do that on an album without it being as abrupt. Plus, if you don't know that story, it's an odd choice. It's a very odd choice because it sounds so very different from everything else on the album, and it tonally doesn't fit like at all with what's in there.
No.
That being said, though, if you remove that from the album and take into account that is the closing track, and I've said before, I will allow bands like a ton of leeway on the last track because, especially in a 40-minute album, right? You know what I mean? The last 3 minutes, if you want to scat sing on that, that's fine, right? Like fine, you do you.
Yeah.
The stuff before it is kind of incredible. It's the depth of the album that I really found myself drawn to. Like, I just feel like every single song is just very well paced. It's methodically plotted out. It has it also reminded me a little bit, my brain's going a million miles a second, but it reminded me a little bit of Chrome Ghost. Not specifically in the sound, although it has elements that do remind me of that. But Chrome Ghost had a way of just really confidently sitting into a song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is how we song, right? So just sit back and, like, I know you're thinking this riff is going on a little bit too long, but just trust us.
Yeah.
By the time you get to the end of the song, you're like that. Oh no, that was the perfect length.
Yeah.
I think these guys, for their young age in album terms, I've kind of got that. They've kind of already mastered that. Like, all the tracks which have moments, like specifically on Without Within, which have weird moments that felt like they could be in a spaghetti western. In the first half of the song, it just had this like soundtrack level quality about it. It just really fucking worked for me. I think they're really, really confident songwriters, even if they maybe don't think they are. I think they've already got that. They understand the genre that they're in, and they're actually performing at a very high level. There's minor things I would change, if anything. Like yourself, Lead Me Home does feel like it's building. Oh, it's fading. The fade, I don't even need the grandiose moment at the end. The fade like takes 5 seconds to fade out on that track. And I kind of feel like if it took 15-20 seconds, it would work a bit better. It just feels very abrupt, kind of almost like they didn't know how to finish the song. So instead they orchestrate it in such a way where they play it multiple times and then fade it out. That was the take they did, and maybe they all finished and the producer was like, we'll just fade it out, and did what he could with it. It's a more abrupt ending than anything else on the album, notwithstanding the final track. And as a result, it stands out, whereas Death Mother Into the Hour flows really nicely, and the Hour Into Lead Me Home flows really nicely. That kind of... And once again, I feel like there's a missed opportunity, and I'm going to go against the grain of everything else I've said on every other review we've recorded tonight. Just look for the top. That's how you know the continuity of when we've recorded them. Kind of feels like there could be like a 1 to 2 minute, like, nice, like, weird interlude that connects Lead Me Home into Without Within as a build-in and then transition out. Like, once again, I think that comes with maturity. Also comes with an abundance of studio time, which I don't know if they necessarily had. This could be like, you've 3 days to get this done, so go and get it done. So you go record what you have and you make do with it. I think with more time and a bit more space to do things, I don't think... I'm more excited about this band than any other band we've reviewed tonight, in that they're young, this is early in their career, and they have already orchestrated, crafted, and mastered so much of their craft that all they need is a bit more, maybe confidence, a bit more time, and a better producer. Not because it doesn't sound $1 million, but a better producer to sit there and say, right, how are we structuring this album? Right, we need something here to transition from this. This ending's fine, However, like if we do like just someone like a director does in a movie or an editor does with a trailer, just someone just kind of guiding they need a Ross Robinson. They need someone just guiding the bits into place a little bit more. I think that's all that's missing here. Musically, this is on point. I love the guitar work. It can be heavy when it wants to be. It can be really dreamy and very, very ethereal in parts, and a very lush sort of way. A kind of almost like translucent. Kind of like you can feel like you could see through the riffs that are in the air. I love that element about it. Everything else is pristinely done. Their secret weapon is her vocals. She has a tone which is absolutely, it's honey in the ears. It is so lush and warm and vibrant and emotive. So yeah, notwithstanding a couple of things which I wouldn't have done it, and I understand why it's there, but it doesn't work, and maybe there are other ways. Like 9322 could be released as a digital single, doesn't need to be on the album. Right? Understand paying respects to someone that was very close and meant a lot to the band. I understand that. It's just the wrong choice for the album. It's so against the tone of everything else, it stands out as a weird oddity. And that's the last flavour you taste. So that's what you walk out of the restaurant on. You're like that. Everything else was lovely, but that final course, for some reason, liquid licorice. Don't understand why. It's that way where it's such an abrasive, acidic sort of sound that's against the warmth of the rest of the album. It's a weird choice. All that removed, there is a ton of things to be excited about here. Like I'm expecting huge things from these guys. That is, all the parts are there. They just need they need a conductor. They just need someone there to focus it in, take away some of the rough edges, and get the songs in a structure where every single one of them delivers exactly what it need to do. And you're talking 5-star material in the future. Easily. Very, very, very exciting find as a band. Like hugely interested to see what happens beyond this. Blodet have the potential to be a very, very big player in that sound. And specifically where they're coming from, a part of the world which is not necessarily known for this sort of music. So it makes them instantly different. Like an incredibly exciting find. Flawed for sure, but I would say that the good parts outweigh the negatives quite a bit.
Yeah, I'd agree. Okay, so scores for the new album from Blodet. I'm a 4 on this. I think there are a lot of good things on this album. I feel like it was just slightly let down by the kind of the endings and the transitions of some of the tracks, and then the last track just kind of felt out of place to me. But I totally agree with you. I think should they find the right person to work with, I can imagine like a Kurt Ballou or like a
could you imagine Kurt Ballou working with him?
Amazing. Or even
who I would get? Like, go closer to home. Get Jakob in there.
Yeah, I was going to say Lewis Johns maybe, because it's Church Road.
Oh yeah, get Lewis. Fuck my idea. Throw it away. We love you, Jakob. Get Lewis Johns in. You know how huge they'd sound.
Yeah. I think bring someone like that in. I think you've got like 5-star material.
I think Church Road are a smart label that will listen to everything we say in our reviews and follow our ill-placed, non-qualified positions. That what makes you say these things? We just listen to a lot of albums. That's my qualification for reviewing albums. Is I listen to a lot of music.
Nice.
Liz Johns, man.
So it's a 4 out of 5 for me. What about yourself?
4. 4? I think that it is so much potential, man. Honestly, I'd like of all the other stuff we've reviewed tonight are from bands that are relatively long in the tooth, not like hugely long in the tooth, but like I've been around for a while, kicking the ball around for a little bit. This one here is it's fresh meat. You know what I mean? and already there's a very mature head on the shoulders of this band that I feel, it just needs someone to give a bit of guidance, a bit of direction, and I honestly see if their next album was like in my top 5 of the year it was released, it would not fucking surprise me at all. I think there's so much potential there for it to happen.
Definitely. Okay, so that's Blodet and Death Mother out on September 29th on Church Road Records. Links below at the band to the pre-order. Check them out, have a listen, see what you think. Happy to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. That is a review. Thank you for checking it out. We'll be back with another review very soon, but until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.